Nice to chat this wonderful season 4.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
I got to start by saying season 3 was so juicy, I want to say. I love it. I love how that first scene in the elevator with 3 of them, and of course the dog.
Yeah,
That was just the best start to the season.
my sidekick. Anytime I see somebody on the street and they recognize me, I was like, "Where's Craig? Do you have that?" I'm like, "He's not my real dog," but I love that people are so attached to him as much as we are.
Yeah, he's the real star of the show, Andrew. We realize.
Yeah.
Well, I just love the vibe starting out that they're all kind of like, I don't know, they're not really happy with each other.
No, they're not happy with anything. I think, the world, all their individual worlds have come crashing down. So they're all in the dumps. And then, because they are who they are and their relationships are what they are, they can't share that information with each other, right? So they're all just stewing in their own sadness instead of being a family. So yeah, it's the perfect dynamic to kick it off.
What is the dynamic going to be like with Abby and Daniel now that it's really thrown off here since he's going to be an equity partner?
I don't know if you heard, but I'm an equity partner. Just
Oh,
make sure
God.
that's very clear that I'm equity. Yeah, it was a really fun way to go into the season because obviously throughout the entire show, the Daniel and Abby dynamic of who has power, who has control, who's the smartest, who's the better lawyer, has played out constantly. And it was at least fun for me to start in that kind of dominant position and just see, without giving too much away, how it kind of as Abby beautifully always does, checks that and puts Daniel in his place many times and having him deal with that.
But I think, Abby has such a soft spot for Daniel. She would never tell him to his face, but she protects him. And, she talks, like, instead of talking bad behind his back, she actually talks really positively behind his back and says how great he is at his job. So she has this kind of soft spot that starts to come out a little bit more as the season progresses. There's a moment halfway through the season where they team up in a way together and realize that they have to team up for the greater good of the company. That's very interesting to see. And then I feel, not to give too much away, but there's a really beautiful emotional moment finally.
Yeah, we were like this throughout, because we, even since season 1, we're always at each other and we'd always kind of talk like, can they be nice to each other? Can they have a win together?
And it happens, and it's really lovely. So yeah.
Well, I gotta talk about the fact that Sofia's essay was really a hard-hitting moment that bleeds into this season. And how is Abby dealing with that, would you say, coming up?
Well, I think at first it's such a hard pill for her to swallow, the effect that she's had on her family, especially her children. To hear that is really, the thing that brings her down the most. And that's where we meet her in season 4 is when she's at her lowest point, really. But what's interesting is that she's gained all of this perspective, right? And she's become this really quite strong person, and is managing her addiction, and she's ready. She's ready for a challenge, and she's not going to give up, essentially. So she's a new kind of Abby. She's really feeling in her element and feeling strong. I
think that's one of the beautiful things of our show, because as the seasons have gone on, the characters haven't sat in the same place. They're not kind of living in the same way that they were from season 1 to 2 to 3, that there really is this emotional growth. And that's like a perfect example of how Abby's changed. That when we were reading the scripts, and okay, I think I see where this is going to go and how she's going to take it. And it's just the writers have done such a fantastic job with all of our characters and storylines, but there really is this evolution of all the characters, which is, I think, as a viewer, really nice to see, because
people evolve, right? We all do. We all change. We all go through experiences that make us stronger or
hurt us.
And these are very flawed people and very human, and that's the way they're written. And it's been a pleasure as an actor to play someone who's so real and so flawed.
Yeah. What was I wasn't Susan, our creator, gave you a note, I think early on, was like, you don't always have to worry about people liking Abby. And
Yeah, it's not necessarily a likable character. She's a human.
yeah.
And she makes mistakes, as we all do. And what's interesting is watching her overcome these mistakes and learn from them, right? Or not.
Or not.
Depending on what it is.
I love that part of the performance and part of the writing, for me, imbues this sense of like, even when they're at each other's necks, I get a sense of this underlying love between them too. So it's interesting to hear you say you're going to have more overt love, I guess, coming up between the two characters. But do you guys get a sense for that in the moments of the show?
The people that love you the most can hurt you the most, right? And that's why when these little digs are said between brother and sister, you can see the pain on the character's face, because it hurts. It hurts. They know how to get you. They know exactly how to press your buttons, as families do, right?
And their characters, they're somewhat emotionally stunted because they didn't grow up with each other. So we didn't have 20, 30 plus years of working all those dynamics out. And I think that's also what brings a lot of fun to the show, because from season 1 on, they're kind of slammed together and having to figure all these dynamics out of both professionally working together as lawyers. And then, we're also brother, sister. But I think you're right to notice that it's always been there. And I think it's obviously easy to play because we all genuinely love each other a lot. But there is the undercurrent of this isn't cutthroat, that they're trying to take each other down to the lowest. They might take you off a step of the pedestal,
sure,
but not like destroy you, because there is there's that sense of family, which as Jewel eloquently said, there's still some love no matter what in even the digs, even the
well, they act like children, right? I mean, that's what's funny is that there's these grown adults in an office acting like kids and bickering like kids. And they're all kind of seeking dad's approval, right? I mean, really, when you get right down to it, that's the whole MO. That's like the baseline for a lot of these arguments is, I want daddy's approval.
Yeah.
And he's never willing to give it. That's the other thing, right? Is we're always trying to get it. And he's like, no, not good enough.
Not today.
Well, Zach, I've had a lot of chances to chat with Jewel about the series and this whole team. What's it been like for you working with this cast and this amazing cast?
It has been the gift of a lifetime, I would say, for many, many reasons. Not just because work has been a joy always, even when it's hard and long and difficult, and the material is like just a joy to read and to come play with these people all the time. But I've just also gained a new family, legitimately. Like, everyone literally this year came to my wedding. They all flew to my real wedding, and they were all there in the aisles and there for the week. They were there with me. So it's genuinely changed my life. And there's not a lot of shows that are like that. You're very lucky in this industry if you get to work on a show like this in your life. And fortunately for us, we found it fairly quickly and have been able to do it for this long. So yeah, it's changed my life in the best way possible.
That's amazing. Well, I do want to talk more about the show, but I have to ask, because Jewel and I have chatted about the fact that you all love to cook and eat. And she sang your praises like big time. I'm curious if you can weigh in on the whole food scene in this last season, maybe filming this, and how you guys collaborated.
Not calling the kettle black, because it started, I mean, Jewel is a genuine, if there's a proper chef, like a legitimate chef,
Not
she's
true.
maybe a degree lower because she hasn't had culinary training, but she's a fantastic chef. And it started in season 1 where, especially because it was in 2020 that we were shooting, and we were COVID lockdown. So we were a little like family. We had our little unit that we could hang out with, and that was it. She'd always be all the time. She's like, okay, guys, come over for dinner. We can't go out anywhere. We can't do anything. So she'd cook for us, the entire cast, and, our close-knit family. And it started there that we just started having these cook-offs of like, okay, I'm going to host. And yeah, and I grew up cooking with my family, so we love food and like to kind of throw down. So now it's been a fun thing that's incorporated into our season shooting of, okay, we plan out our family dinners.
We really
plan out our, okay, in 2 months from now, guys, book off the Saturday because we got to do family dinner at my house. It's like, it's just part of the show.
Yeah, it's a thing. And everybody's a good cook.
Everybody.
Like Janelle Williams is a crazy good cook too. So she'll bring her own stuff, and
Brett Kelly can
mean brisket.
Yeah,
Brett Kelly and that brisket, baby. So yeah, we have these huge potlucks where the food is just completely out of control, and we overeat and then end up lying on the ground, rolling around, and as you do when you've overeaten. And that's the way. I think we all speak the same love language, and that's food.
Yeah.
So we're big eaters.
It has been, we were like, if there's ever a spin-off of the show, it'll be all these chefs and we're all working together. For real. So all we can do is just cook and it'd be great.
It feels like the most Canadian thing ever for this to be something that's done with the team on a set. I love it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's funny, right? I mean, what are the odds of getting that many people on a cast that all have similar hobbies and interests? But really, I mean, that's what's kind of happened. Is that we all met. We're like, oh, you like to do that too? Oh, me too. Okay, well, let's do that this weekend and next weekend and the weekend after that.
But it's also how
so weird,
friendly and loving our set has been. Not even just for the top cast, but everyone who's come on. There's lots of people that I've being in Vancouver now met actors who've come onto our show, and they were in season 1 or 3 or something, and they'll say it while we're shooting, but then afterwards too, like, your set is the best show to be on as an actor.
I love hearing that.
And that's one of the things we are most proud of, because I mean, it's not by accident. We all intend that because we've all been there before. When you show up as an actor for one day, you're there for 2 weeks or whatever, and you can kind of feel like the kid who's starting school halfway through the semester, and you kind of whatever. And it's lovely to hear that everybody who's come onto our show has felt part of the family, even if they're there for a scene. It's like, the little secret most people don't know, but like Miss Jewel Staite, for anybody who comes on the show, she's got a little card for them, a little gift in their, everybody written notes. It's like everyone walks onto the show feeling very welcome. And I think that's also part of the energy.
We had the same goal, right? We had the same goal going in, where we were like, we want this to have a reputation as being the best set in town. We want it to be the friendliest, most welcoming place, right? How can we do that? So when everybody has the same goal in mind, there is no other outcome, right? But for it to succeed. And I feel like just because we all had that same mentality and didn't take it too seriously either, we all realized we get to play make-believe for a living, and that's what we're doing every day. And let's just have fun.
We kind of had that rule, didn't we? Like, if we're not having fun, we're doing it wrong.
Totally. And it was a great vibe from the start, and it stayed that way all the way through. And I think that's just a testament to the fact that we all committed to that and managed to keep it that way.
That's awesome. Well, I'll just ask quickly, what are some of the main cases that you're going to face off to this season?
Oh, there's some juicy stuff. Oh man,
I'm really excited. I'm just going to.
Go.
I'm really excited. There's this case that there's a sports star.
Oh yeah.
That has a case, and it was fun for me because you see a very different side of Daniel. Let's just say he's a bit of a fanboy, and it was really fun to jump into that.
We have one where a guy is in love with his doll. He has a doll,
an AI doll. Yeah,
he's in love with her, and we have to argue that that's a legitimate relationship. So that one's very interesting. We also have a really great nemesis coming on this season, who has a great arc, and just really manages to completely rock the boat.
Yeah.
So that's really fun. And then relationships wise, we have a few new dynamics, a few new love interests coming on.
Yeah, everybody has a little pop of something in their personal lives, which, as to your very first point of, came off of a bit of a hard hit end of season 3. There's some light in the tunnel for
yes, we're on our way up ish.
Well, I can't wait to see the rest, and can't wait to see more Craig as well.
Yes, we know.
I'll send his regard. Yeah.
He couldn't
Thank
make
you
this
both
decision.
Too
so
early.
much. It's so cool to chat about the show.
Thanks,
Thank
Andrew.
you, Andrew.
Appreciate
Take
it.
care.